Yo, so Spain has won the World Cup 2026, but where does this World Cup stand in your rankings? For me, in my lifetime, this is the best World Cup I've ever seen. When we're talking about on the pitch, we had goals, excitement, we had success stories, um we had underdogs getting out of the group phase and entering the knockout stages. We had Norway almost almost getting almost getting past England and making it into that semi-final. We had a lot of the African nations coming to the fore. We had the likes of Cape Verde, Curacao. Listen, I think we had everything in this World Cup. Even the things that people didn't like we had a lot of political stuff going on. We had a lot of human rights ethics and whatnot. And listen, call me bad, but for me, it all added to the excitement. It all added to the suspense. It all added to the tension, the build up, the anticipation. Because even before a ball was kicked, I remember in my group chat it was going off like, look at what certain teams are getting put through security wise just to get in the country for the World Cup. We had the whole issue with the referee. We had all the debates about should there be this big halftime performances and whatnot in the final. Even when when a ball was kicked, when the World Cup kicked off, we had the Argentina conspiracy theories like, is the ref favouring Argentina and Messi? We had the FIFA president seen celebrating certain teams winning and looking stressed when certain teams are losing. We had President Trump, actually get involved in the FIFA World Cup and get a red card rescinded. Like, this is unheard of. This has never ever happened before. He actually got a red card for the USA rescinded. Like, it's absolutely mental. I think for me, hands down, has to be the number one World Cup. Even though the final was a stinker, like an absolute stinker. But then what we got after the final whistle blew was a whole Royal Rumble on the pitch. A whole Royal Rumble on the pitch. I saw punches, elbows, sweeps, kicks, drags. Listen, it was carnage. It was absolute chaos. And I must say, I loved it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, for me, it was ranked number one. Number one World Cup in my lifetime. Let me know in the comments what you lot think, where you rank it in your lifetime. But yeah, like I said, Spain won it. And I think it's clear to see that Spain won it based on their possession football. And it worked a treat, especially in this climate. In the climate with the just taking this toll game by game, along with the travelling. I think teams just couldn't deal with it. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't. You have to understand, yeah, when you are chasing the ball for 90% of the game in the heat, do you know what I mean? Or when you are, remember there's an extra game in this tournament. So when you're at game 4, game 5, you're already feeling it, yeah? And then you're playing a Spain that's just bopping it and bopping it and bopping it. And you're just chasing this ball, chasing this ball. Even when you get the ball, you can't really make things happen because you're trying to recover. You ain't even got the energy to try and hurt Spain now. Do you know what I mean? Which shows in their defense. I think they only conceded 1 goal throughout the tournament. And that, listen, Spain have brilliant defenders, but I can guarantee you that wasn't due to brilliant defending. That was due to keeping the ball. If you're always keeping 70, 80% of the ball, the opposition has less time to try and penetrate your defense and score a goal. And they have less energy to do so also. Which then brings me to England and Thomas Tuchel, or Tugate as I call him. And it brings me to think about what he was thinking, bringing a squad full of physicality. openly saying that he's picking a profile of physicality, physically, pace and power. Do you know what I mean? He openly said he wants to implement the Premiership style, Premiership football, fast pace, aggressive. And it's like, obviously he clearly left all the technical ball playing players at home, apart from Kobe Mainu, but then he gave him 0 minutes. So we can see the direction and path that he took. But then it makes me wonder, with Spain doing the opposite and winning the tournament, was it not apparent that in this heat, in the conditions, it's going to be almost impossible to implement that style of play, to just bulldoze the teams and run over teams, overrun teams? How are you going to be doing that for 7-8 games? It doesn't really, do you know what I mean? And then he talks about the DNA and the control of games and whatnot. Well, you didn't bring players to control games. You bring transitional players. But he would never take accountability for those things. So we would never really understand his thought process going into this tournament, because his ego is so inflated that it just absolutely denies him the chance of taking any accountability and providing any explanation that's worthwhile. So yeah, for me, I'm Tuchel out. Let me know in the comments as well how you feel about, not even Tuchel, we have to call him Two-Gate. Yeah, because he morphed into Gareth Southgate on the sidelines against Argentina, or even before that. Yeah. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. But now we're gonna move on to the World Cup 2026 player of the tournament. I know it was given to Rodri. If you agree with that, cool. But for me, Mbappe was my player of the tournament. For the excitement, the goals, the assists. People forget he got 4 assists as well. Broken records. He broke the goal scoring record. He broke the French goal scoring record. He broke it in record time. He's got the most knockout goals. He's got the most goals in finals. And he wasn't just like, he's not just a penalty box striker. Even when he's not scoring, he's providing you with entertainment throughout, constantly. I can't remember what team it was, but I remember one team, the player olayed him, nutmegged him. He instantly won the ball back. This might be one of the only times you see Mbappe counter press like this. Instantly won the ball back, olayed the player back, then dragged it back again, beat him again in a duel, ran into the box, and I think he got tackled. Like, it was constant delight just watching him play. And then obviously, yeah, the statistics behind it as well. He won the Golden Boot in the World Cup. Like I said, 4 assists. I think, yeah, all round, that's my player of the tournament. Young player of the tournament, I give it to Kabazi. Have to give it to Kabazi, because you have to remember, yeah, the possession-based football that Spain played, you as a young centre-back are now constantly receiving that ball in areas of the pitch that with one mistake is costing you a goal, with the weight of the nation on your shoulders, in a sense of that responsibility that you're taking on, knowing that one mistake and everything's imploding on top of you. And he dealt with it excellently. I'll say we only saw slight nerves in the Belgian game. He kind of struggled in the Belgian game. And you saw 1 or 2 nerves in the final, which is to be expected. But overall, he came through in flying colours, and definitely deserves the young player of the tournament. Now, moving on, I'm going to give you my top 10 players of the tournament, yeah, in order. So obviously, number 1, I already said it, player of the tournament is Mbappe, 10 goals, 4 assists. So after that, I'll go with Rodri. He had a big, huge influence over the eventual winners. So I have to go with Rodri in second. Messi, 8 goals, 4 assists. Just turned games with a click of his fingers. So have to give him that 3rd spot. Coming in 4th will be Jude Bellingham, 7 goals, 1 assist. He was a driving force for his team, for England. He showed his worth, not just going forward, but also we saw it defending as well. Brilliant slide tackles. Brilliant slide tackles. And sometimes they're almost as important as great. And you know, like when a player goes on a great run, when he goes on a great run and the crowd are off their feet, and you know what I mean, it builds momentum for the team. Sometimes those slide tackles do the same thing. When you see an attacking player, sometimes your best player, go and make a defensive action like that. He cleared one off the line as well. The crowd goes crazy. Now all of a sudden the momentum swings. So yeah, Jude Bellingham 4th, Haaland 5th. I think they overachieved that Norway team and he got 7 goals in it. So definitely Haaland's in there 5th. Olise 6th, 7 assists, broke the record for the World Cup, for the assists in the World Cup. I think he had a little dip in form, or he didn't affect games as well in the latter stages. Olise 7 assists, broke the record for the World Cup assists, and he didn't affect games in the latter stages of the knockout stages as much as we would have liked. However, I still feel breaking that record, and just in general, 7 assists, and like I said with Mbappe, even when he's not making those assists, he is entertaining. He's just so elegant on the ball, gliding past players, and he's, as Thierry Henry says, he thinks the game. That's the difference. When he gets in that final third, after he's done the jinky stuff, he's thinking the game. Some of his assists, they're not like immediately highlight reel worthy. But if you actually look at the intricacies, what he's doing, sometimes he's just shifting the ball to the side just enough to then play that pass through the defender's legs onto more often than not Mbappe to tuck it away. And it's like those all intricacies you have to kind of, yeah, if you acknowledge the level that he's doing these things at, you would appreciate him even more. And then yeah, after Olise, I go Dembele, 6 goals, 2 assists. I don't think he had as much influence as Olise or Mbappe over the team in general. However, his impact was still evident. 6 goals, 2 assists. He was the other goal threat. Remember, Olise didn't score any goals. So what he done was he even at times allowed Mbappe a little bit more time and space on the ball, and vice versa, because you know, if you're doubling up on Mbappe, then it's like, who's doubling up on Olise? And then if Mbappe is doubled up on, then Elise's got Dembele in a bit more space that he can now unlock. So yeah, I think they dovetailed well together. Harry Kane, 6 goals, 1 assist. Harry Kane coming in at 8th place. Then at 9th place, I've got Pedro Porro, 2 goals. One of them a very, very important goal against France. So I have to get him in there. Also defending as well. Defending. I didn't see much wingers get the better of Pedro Porro. And defending isn't one of the things that... He isn't a bad defender, but he isn't like known for his defensive expertise or anything. So yeah, he was very impressive. Cucurella, 2 assists, and yeah, dogged defending all the way through the tournament. And to be honest, Pedro Porro had Yamal on the right side, who doesn't defend as much. So this is why I put Pedro Porro in 9th place. But Cucurella, he didn't have an attacking threat on the left side. So you could almost say he had the same or even more impact, because most of the attacking threat, I don't think Bayern had done much. I think he got that 1 goal, 1 assist. So most of the attacking threat on the left side for Spain came through Cucurella. So yo, they're my top 10 players for the World Cup 2026. Moving on, I'm going to give you my World Cup 2026 top 3 players that impressed me. And then I'm going to give you my top 3 players that disappointed in this tournament. So obviously, I'm not going to go with the obvious name brand players. I'm going to go with the surprise packages, or players that I knew about, I was aware of, but they went up a level for me. Or they showed it on a level that I didn't know they would be able to show it on. Or I thought they might be able to show it on, but it's like I haven't seen it yet. And they came and that they were the same player. I've seen them in their club teams or whatnot, or in their underage football. They were the same player here on the biggest stage under the bright lights. And the first player I'm going to mention is Manzambi, 19, 20 years old, playing for Switzerland. Versatile, can play anywhere in the midfield or up front. Can play 6, 8, 10, wide right, wide left, or up front. And he's just got a bit of everything. For me, he's going to be, in his career, he's going to be 100 million plus player. Triple digit. He's going to be a top player. And I predict at some stage in his career, you're going to have to pay 100 million plus to get him. Manzambi, yeah? 6 foot plus, rangy, good on the ball, technical, can defend, can do the horrible stuff. He'll beat you in a duel. He'll play a 1-2 and bop it past you. He can score a goal. He can create a goal. He's decent in the air. Like, he's literally got it all. He's got the correct temperament as well. Like, he's already got the superstar celebration. Yeah, the kids are already, you know what I mean, locking in with his celebration. So yeah, I think definitely he's on the verge of coming to the Premiership to join Aston Villa. I hope Man United hijack that deal. Obviously, I don't think they will do, but I think we'll regret it later, because I think after the season with Villa, listen, United are going to be looking to pay that 100 million plus. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Manzambi definitely impressed for me. The second one is Buadi. Obviously, I was aware of Buadi before the tournament, but seeing him do it at this stage, I was aware of his abilities and whatnot, but to have that composure and that confidence, he never looked out of place, never looked flustered. He just looked like he's supposed to be here, like he knows who he is. And that was very impressive for me. You have to remember, he's playing as a DM, and he's actually, everything's going through him. So he's receiving the ball very close to his own goal. And when you're receiving the ball regularly there at 18 years old, you know, if you have to be press resistant. You make one mistake and you're likely to let in a goal. So to perform that role to the level that he did, and to show his level at this level, was very, very impressive. Like, he's almost a complete player at 18. The only thing he probably needs to add to his game is a goal threat. To be, because the players that he reminds me of is the likes of Rodri, or if you know about Redondo, the Argentinian centre midfielder. He reminds me of these players, but both of those players had a goal threat, Rodri and Redondo. So for him he's got a little bit of Busquets in him as well. But for him to try and get to those levels and be a complete all-round player, if he just adds that little bit of goal threat, which he probably will, being that he's only 18 right now, listen, the sky's the limit. And like I said with Manzambi, that's another £100 million player. They're quoting 70, 80 million to get him now. I'm telling you, that's another £100 million player. Last but not least on the impressed list, my top 3 impressive players of the World Cup 2026. I'm going to need you lot to split these two, yeah? Because I can't split them. My first one is Quinones, the Black Mexico player. Yeah, jinky on that left wing. Goal threat, constant goal threat. Creates goals as well. Top scorer out in Saudi. Outdid Ronaldo and Ivan Toney, Benzema and whatnot. So yeah, he's a player. He's definitely a player. And he took that form from Saudi into the World Cup. And the person that I can't separate him from is Malik Tillman, the USA centre midfielder, plays for Bayer Leverkusen. I think he got like 2 goals, 1 assist, something like that in this World Cup. He was dangerous from set pieces. Very creative, technical, but athletic as well. Good physicality. Again, 6 foot plus. Does his defensive work. And yeah, he's a constant goal threat. So yeah, I can't separate them. So if you look and decide in the comments who gets that 3rd place, so like I said, Manzambi, Buadi, and then it's out of Quinones and Malik Tillman for who gets that third place and the most impressive players of the World Cup 2026. Now, the three players I was most disappointed by in this tournament was Bruno Fernandes. After the record-breaking season with Man United and everyone touting Portugal to do very well due to their midfield, due to having the best midfield in the tournament on paper, it was a disappointing display. Now, in the first game, I actually think he done quite well. He was constantly probing, he was constantly trying, and he ended up finishing this tournament with, what, one goal? Was it one goal or one assist that he finished with? I can't remember. Let me know in the comments. But it just wasn't good enough. So what happened is, after that first game, it's like the more Portugal needed him, the more he started to do too much. So he started to drop into Vitinha's space, into João Neves' space, and started to try and start attacks, finish attacks, play between the lines and play in the first phase of the build-up. He was overdoing it as the games went on because he's that type of player. But Vitinha, João Neves, they needed to tell him, like, no, don't come in this space. You stay up there between the lines. Let us do our job. But to be honest, let's move on to Vitinha now, because he wasn't doing his job. He wasn't passing that ball through the lines forward into the likes of Bruno's feet. So this is why Bruno was dropping back. So this is why Vitinha's in the list as well. He did not, he got hooked more often than not at half time or 60 minutes, 70 minutes. He hardly ever played the 90 minutes. And then also, I could have put Ronaldo in there, but I didn't put Ronaldo in there based on these two midfielders' performances. If your top midfielders are not performing at 40 plus years old, you can't expect Ronaldo to be coming back to get the ball, beat 2-3 players to get a chance on goal. And at 40 plus years old, Ronaldo still scored 3 goals at the World Cup. So I can't, do you know what I mean? Spain's striker only scored 2 more goals than him. So I can't be too harsh on Ronaldo. And for that reason, my third person in the most disappointing players of the World Cup 2026 is, you lot got to help me out with this one as well. It's out of Doué and Cherki. For me, Doué was terrible. He was terrible. There's probably like one half of a game where I feel like he turned up and was Doué. Apart from that, he was very predictable. He was very performative. Like, he was doing skills and getting nowhere. His end product was poor. Whether it was his end product was poor. And like, the ability that he has to be given more. He has to. He's 21 years old. Yeah, he's young, but he's not too young to be performing at this level. Do you know what I mean? And then the other person that I don't know how to separate him with is Cherki. Now, Ryan Cherki got less opportunities. However, when he did get his cameos, he never ever did enough for me to say, or for the manager to say, you know what, he deserves a start next game. He never ever did enough. And to be honest, he didn't look like he was trying to do enough. He looked like he was just pissed off that he wasn't starting and just thought, F this. I'm just going to come on and just go through the motions. So yeah, you lot let me know who deserves that third spot in the most disappointing players of the World Cup 2026, whether it's Doué or Cherki. Now, combined 11. Yeah, the one that you lot have been waiting for. World Cup 2026, combined 11. Goalkeeper, I feel like this is one of the toughest picks, to be honest. This might have been my toughest pick, goalkeepers. Because you got the Unai Simon for Spain. Now, I eventually went for him. I'll let you lot know now. I went for Simon only because to be playing for a team that has the ball 70, 80, 90% of the time, you have to stay switched on. You have to stay switched on. And Spain play with a high line. So you have to stay switched on because you have to be a sweeper before you're even a keeper. And then also when you have the ball at your feet, you have to be brave to build up. And then you have to also be alert to the times when the opposition does have a chance, and now you have to be called into action. And especially in the final, there was a particular moment that stands out in my memory where Messi was through on goal, and the cameraman hasn't actually turned to show us the length of the pitch. So it just looks like Messi through on goal, and out of nowhere you just see this keeper rush out, boom, clear the ball. Like, I literally thought, yeah, Messi's through on goal. But yeah, Simon was alert, sweeping up. He was, obviously, his start position was incredible for him to get there in the first place. And I think, yeah, that just picked it for him, for me. And the other goalkeepers that were in contention was Gil. He's a Paraguay goalkeeper. I think he was brilliant. He's like a man mountain. He's massive. He's tall. I just think he's a brilliant old school shot stopping one-on-one goalkeeper. Yeah, without all that pizzazz, all that build up stuff. He's just the old school goalkeeper. He's like a better version of Nick Pope. The better version of Nick Pope. So yeah, then obviously an honourable mention for Vitinha. Yeah, the Cape Verde keeper. I think he deserves an honourable mention. I think he was brilliant, considering he had to play Spain and Argentina. I think he was brilliant in both games as well. So yeah, Unai Simon gets the goalkeeper spot. Right back, Porro. The only competition to him was Hakimi, who had a brilliant tournament as well. But I think Porro, the importance of some of his goals led to Spain eventually winning the tournament. So I had to go to Porro. And the unexpected defensive display from Porro at times, considering he doesn't get much cover from Yamal, it just edged it for me. Saliba didn't put a foot wrong. He was absolutely flawless in his defending for France. Obviously, was injured in the semis. He got injured in the semis, or was it in the playoff game against England? He ended up getting injured, but throughout the tournament, he was absolutely flawless. Like Upamecano is centre-back part. They were both very, very good throughout this tournament. But Upamecano made a mistake for me against Spain. Matt made a couple of mistakes in other games as well. Whereas Saliba was just flawless. And Laporte gets in there alongside him at centre-back. I think Laporte, again, was flawless, brilliant with the ball. And he kind of squashed that myth that players that go to Saudi forget how to play football. That's how especially English media act. Like, if a player goes to Saudi, they instantly forget how to play football. And Laporte has just squashed that myth. Cucurella left back. I don't think there was much competition for the left back spot. I think Cucurella's got that outright. My two centre midfielders in a double pivot would be Rodri and Jude. I think their performances speak for themselves. Rodri, just the influence, the conductor of that Spanish team. And then Jude was the driving force of the English team. And I've got Olise right wing, Messi as a cam, and then Mbappe left wing. I think Olise breaking the assist record. Messi just constantly deciding games, and then Mbappe getting that golden boot and just being electric all the way through. Up front now, had a little bit of contemplation between Harry Kane and Erling Haaland. In the end, I went for Erling Haaland, who got a goal more, although Harry Kane got an assist as well. I think Haaland's displays for Portugal, he decided more games. For Norway, he decided more games. And that's why I went for Haaland. I think Kane decided less games for England than Haaland did for Norway. So yeah, that's my final 11. My combined 11 for World Cup 2026 is, just to run through it again, Unai Simon, Porro at right back, Saliba, Laporte at centre back, Cucurella left back, Rodri and Jude in the double pivot, Olise right wing, Messi cam, Mbappe left wing, and Haaland up front.